This is a Sessions video tutorial, creating curves with the pen tool.
Creating and manipulating curves with the pen tool can be a challenge, so we'll look at how to draw them as well as how to edit them. Knowledge gained from understanding the pen tool here will carry over to using it in other Adobe applications, such as Photoshop, Flash, InDesign, and Fireworks, among others. To start, I've set the fill color to no color, or none, in the toolbar, and I've set the stroke color to black. This is so the fill color doesn't get in the way or become distracting later on. To draw straight lines with the pen tool, you simply click once in one spot and then move to another and click again. To draw curves, though, you click and drag with the mouse. By dragging, you pull out what are called direction handles. These handles tell Illustrator which direction the path will go to once you click in another area. It's a little tough to see, but the direction handles have small circles on the ends of them, while the anchor point appears square. Visualize the direction handles with the head and tail of an arrow. To make this concept a little easier to understand, I'll overlay some arrows onto a previously drawn curved path. On the first anchor point, I dragged up and to the right. The arrowhead shows where I release the mouse to establish the first part of the curve. For the second anchor point, I dragged down and to the right. For the third point, I clicked and dragged up, and for the last anchor point, I clicked and dragged down and to the left. With this illustration, you can get an idea of how anchor points anchor a path down in one place and how the direction handles influence where the path goes next. Now, try not to make the mistake of clicking on the end of the last direction handle you created. You really want to keep more of your focus on where you put the next anchor point as well as the path being drawn. In other words, don't let the end of the direction handle be a guide for where you click next. To stop the pen tool from drawing additional paths, press and hold the Command key on the Mac or the Control key on Windows and click an empty area of the screen. Keep in mind that the pen tool cannot alter a direction handle. You'll need the Direct Selection tool to do that. Either click and drag on a path or draw a selection marquee around an anchor point with this tool. You can then adjust direction handles. In your design work, you may often be asked to trace a bitmap image with the pen tool. The goal is to approximate the contours of the image with curved paths as much as possible, unless, of course, the bitmap has a lot of straight lines and angles. Let's zoom in on a portion of this template so you can see how to get started. As a reminder, set your stroke color to black and your fill to no color. I want to briefly show you what happens if you keep the fill. I want to make this more apparent, so I'll change the fill color to something other than white. Now, I'll move fairly quickly through this to demonstrate what happens. Once done, I'll start over without the fill color visible. As you can see, the fill starts to obstruct part of the template image. This certainly makes the task at hand a little more challenging, and that's not what we need more of when it comes to using this tool. I'll undo these paths and set the fill to no color, and we'll get started again. Alright, as before, I'm going to do a somewhat rough trace. I'm not too concerned about how the paths look, but I do want to get them to match the contours of the template image fairly closely. Once I'm done drawing a path, I can always go back with the Direct Selection tool and modify paths and points for a better fit. Notice I don't use any corner points. These are all curved paths I'm creating. To complete this shape, I'll close the path. To do this, I'll hold down the Option key and position the pen tool cursor near the first point I initiated this shape with. For those using Windows, hold down the Alt key and hover near the first point. When the cursor is near the first anchor point, it changes to display a hollow circle next to the pen. This means that once I release the mouse button, the path will close, and I will have created a closed shape, which will make filling the shape a lot easier than had I left it open. A quick press of Shift plus X and I reverse the stroke and fill, so now the fill is black and the stroke is set to no color. As mentioned, I can now go in with the Direct Selection tool if necessary and adjust any paths or points to get a tighter fit. And that's how to manipulate curves in Illustrator, a skill that definitely improves with practice.
Did you like this video? Then subscribe today to stay up to date on our channel or follow us on Google+, Twitter, and Facebook. Visit sessions.edu for more info on classes and admissions. Also, don't forget to check out the links to free downloadable content in the description. Thanks for watching.